this warlock deck here. I'm gonna do that for a bit. I need to change the name. I need to change the name of the deck. Where is this? And I'll give you a quick look at the cards here. And it's named that because it has all three old gods in it. Cthulhu, Nzoth, and Yshaarj. Well, 3 of the 4 old gods. And basically, some of the cards that were in one of the Zoothulhu decks that I saw recently, but also a bunch of the cards that are for Cthulhu. So it's kind of like a hybrid deck, so it's, you know, it's weird. No, you can't see that. That's tiny. Sorry. There we go. This is this is what's in it. I got Forbidden Ritual, 2 of those, Corruption, Mortal Coil, Power Overwhelming, Abusive Sergeant, Blood Imp times 2. 2 of those at the same time is funny because they can't do anything, and sometimes they just buff each other to really high health, and it's just hilarious because they're just sitting there stealth, buffing each other. But then you can use like Power Overwhelming or Demon Fuse on them, and then they become really powerful and have a lot of health. It's funny. Leper Gnome, which you can play Power Overwhelming on a Leper Gnome. It becomes basically a 5/5 creature. You can hit the something with it, and then it'll also do 2 damage to the enemy hero when it explodes after that turn is over, which is pretty good. Possessed Villager, I got 2 of those. Voidwalker, Demon Fuse, Beckoner of Evil, Direwolf Alpha, which is one of the Zoothulhu cards. Twilight Geomancer, Argent Horse Rider, another Zoothulhu card. Darkchild Councilman. This plus this Forbidden Ritual. Very, very scary combination, because I've got 2 of these guys, right? And after you summon a minion, gain +1 attack. Well, you summon this guy in like turn 3, and then turn 4 you summon 4 of these guys. Boom! You just buff Darkchild Councilman up to 5/5, which is really nice. Imp Master, which again will help Darkchild Councilman. Twilight Elder, just something to buff Cthulhu with on each turn. Hellfire, in case things get out of hand, your opponent has a lot of characters on the board, you want to get rid of them, and you don't really care about getting rid of your own 1/1 characters. It's just like they're useless most of the time. Summoning Portal, which is really good because that means that if that's down later, like maybe around turn 6 or 7, then you can summon any of the old gods you want at turn 8, which is really nice. Usher of Souls, which that card is for whenever you create all of those tentacles, you can destroy all of them, put this character down. So you have the turn 3, put down the councilman. Turn 4, put down all of the tentacles. Turn 5, put that character down and get rid of as many tentacles as you can against their minions, and then you're buffing your Cthulhu. It's an iffy situation. Sometimes it's better to use that maybe later on when you can put down tentacles and then put that down. It's really situational. There's a lot of situational things in here, but there's a lot of otherwise control things in it too. Like Siphon Soul is a pretty good thing to take something off the board that you really don't want to mess with. Dread Infernal, again, dealing 1 damage to all other characters. That's pretty good in case they don't want to attack your minions, and when you have that up, you can just kill all of them yourself. So turn 5, throw that down to try to get rid of some of those tentacles. If they don't want to mess with your tentacles to buff that, then you do it yourself. Black Knight, which is a pretty good card for controlling taunt creatures. And then of course you have Cthulhu, Nzoth, and this deck does have Death Rattle minions, especially let's see, the Leper Gnome is a Death Rattle minion. The Possessed Villager is a pretty good Death Rattle minion because after it dies, it will not die. It'll just create something else. Which that's another thing that's really good to kill with Hellfire or Dread Infernals when you have an Usher of Souls up, because they'll respawn if you have a Dark Shadow Councilman up at the same time. Guess what happens? Whenever one of these where did he go? Possessed villagers. Whenever they die and they respawn another thing, the Shadow Beast, it buffs the Dark Shadow Councilman. So there's a lot of things that could get out of hand easily against your opponent, which is pretty cool. And Nzoth will bring back any of those Death Rattle minions, so you can use them again if you've used them that game. And also he's a 5/7 character, so he's not terrible. And then of course Yshaarj, which if you have Cthulhu, Nzoth, and Yshaarj in your hand, throw it on Yshaarj first, because he's not gonna call any of these up and screw up that. I've had all three of them in my hand at once before too, so that's the Zoothulhu deck, which I'm gonna play a couple of rounds in just regular casual for a little bit, see how well it goes, because when I tried to play against people in there's some cards that I could put in here, some things I could switch around to take out all the old gods and make a better deck with this, but it's definitely just supposed to be a fun deck, not necessarily like the best deck ever. It's just fun to see how high up you can get Cthulhu and all these other things to happen, and make it seem like, really crazy. It's a really crazy deck, but it's also pretty fun. And that's how I play Hearthcraft. Yes, Hearthcraft. The name of the game is Hearthcraft, right? World of Hearthcraft. Hearth of Worldcraft. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do this.